Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something very cool to check out as we have another brand new Chap Mei release, but this one is a figure I have never seen from them, and they have recently given us a few new species as we got a Concavenator, a Dilophosaurus. There was also a young version of a Tyrannosaur, but this time we've got ourselves one of the coolest looking, I guess it's a Dilophosaurus that I've ever seen. This thing is absolutely awesome, and what's crazy is they took almost like a very cool stylized but more updated version, but definitely stylized, version of a Dilophosaurus, but they gave it the Jurassic Park kind of frill and stuff to it, and just overall is probably one of the coolest looking versions of a Chap Mei dinosaur that I have seen come out in quite some time. Now, what is also fun about this set is you can see it features some extras, so it's kind of like a little play set, as we've got a human figure in there, an ATV, we've got some bushes, some baby dinosaurs, and weapons and stuff. Pretty much this stuff you usually find in Chap Mei releases, and then if you turn the box around, you can get a good look at the dinosaur here on the back, basically give you an idea as far as what it looks like. And of course, you've also got that super cool Chap Mei artwork down here, which I am a fan of. So let's pop this out of the box and check everything contained within out. So there we go. We have everything now that was in the box out of the box and here before us. And honestly, this dinosaur looks awesome. I love the overall design that they've gone with for this one. The only thing that's a bummer for it is the fact that there is, again, kind of a short tail for it, but that's pretty common when it comes to Chap Mei dinosaurs. But the stuff that's, contained within as well, the extras, are always fun. It's always neat that Chap Mei gives you, again, usually a good amount of stuff for a pretty good value, and you can see the same thing again with this set. So let's jump to a closer look and examine all of this from there. So of course we're going to begin with the dinosaur, and you can see again what I was saying. It looks extremely cool. First of all, the crest that we have on this is very unique and different compared to any Dilophosaurus that I can recall Chap Mei releasing in the past. So that's really cool. You can see the detailing looks really quite nice on the face as well. There's definitely some nice, very vibrant scale detail. You can see we've got a very dark gray for the face, but then you've got like some light gray showing up here in a few areas. And then up in the crest, you can see we've got a mixture of oranges and that light gray, again highlighting the crest as well. As you move down, you can see we've got a green for the lower jaw. The detail's not quite as nice down here as it is on the upper jaw, but again, it's not terrible either. We also have like a little kind of almost like a small ridge or something coming off of the lower jaw. Again, artistic liberties taken, that's for sure. You can see the eye is an orange, and the only thing missing is we don't have a pupil on it, but it gives the dinosaur a very creepy look. I will definitely say that. We do also have an articulated jaw for our dinosaur. No real detail or anything on the inside of the mouth, unfortunately. Now, it doesn't even look like we really have a tongue. But the teeth are all sculpted pretty decently, and they're painted with a light gray, actually similar tone of gray almost to what we have in the face, just slightly different as far as that shade goes. But as you move back, you do again have a frill for the Dilophosaurus, and the frill is a translucent red, so you can see, of course, right through it, but it also gives you an idea of what the detail looks like, which is pretty cool. You can also see again that there are some other tones of color included, as we have like very dark grays, it looks like. You've got green kind of splattered through, and then you've got some off-whites here moving around on the outer edges of the frill. Definitely really cool, really quite flashy coloration for that. And of course you can see behind the frill as well, again with that translucent look. And since this is a Chap Mei release, we've got that injury button down here, so I'd imagine that's going to light up the frill once we push that. We've also got a very interesting look here when it comes to the skin on the back of the dinosaur. So starting up here in the back of the neck, it looks like we have almost like an armored sort of scoot-like appearance as you move down, but at the same time, I'm almost torn as far as whether that's what that's supposed to be. Kind of looks like, but at the same time, the further I move down, the more it sort of looks like feathers moving along the back of the dinosaur. And you can also see kind of like what looks like a healthy dose of feathers sticking up on the back of the dinosaur, or quills at the very least, on the back of the dinosaur as well. So I'm not entirely sure. The fact that they kind of extend down here, though, you can see that's definitely feathering, or like quills at the very least, poking up here and there as you move through. It's very interesting. Not something you see too often on Chap Mei either. But you can see that dark gray leads down. It does cut off briefly there in the neck, where you can see kind of like some green looping up and over the neck. And then the dark dark gray returns, again highlighting the back up here before disappearing as you lead out here toward the hip. As you move down into the arms, you can see again really nice looking skin texture, very muscular, a little bit shrink wrapped of course, but you can also see the elbow back here, definitely shrink wrapped, but you can see the elbow back here. You can see the hands as you move out. You've got scoots moving down the fingers and the claws sculpted pretty nicely. No nail paint though, unfortunately, but you have articulation in the arms, forward and back, and it actually moves really nicely. If that leg wasn't in the way, it could probably loop around to the back of the frill, but then it would get stuck going back around the other way. As you move back into the stomach, you can see again that injury here. Of course, that's the area where we are going to push the button to activate the sound and light up feature. You can see a few osteoderms and stuff picking up. Very different style skin texture to the underside of the dinosaur as well. And then as you move back into the thigh, you can see nice muscle definition. You can also see very vibrant scale detail. And again, further giving that look of feathers, you can kind of see like feathers leading down here into the top of the thigh. But the scale detail looks really nice in the leg right there. As you move down, you've got the knee, you've got a nice big bulging calf muscle, and then you move down into the foot. The foot sculpt also has some scoots moving down the toes, and the nails even sport a little bit of detail to them. You've got that dew claw in the back, and you actually don't have opened insides of the legs. These ones are actually closed up, which is nice. And of course you have articulation in the legs, but not a whole lot. That's really about it as far as the mobility goes of this leg. So not too much going on there. But as you lead out into the tail, you do have this little area that kind of looks like slash marks on the side of the dinosaur, again where you can hear the sound come out of. A few osteoderms moving out, and the tail leads up and back down. And you've got another area of what I would imagine are feathers or quills or something out here near the end of the tail as the tail comes to an end. And then if you turn the dinosaur around, you take a look at the head sculpt. Of course, the only difference over here is the fact that we now have screw holes, which again is something that's extremely common and always has been when it comes to Chap Mei. As you move down, you can see a few more screw holes in a few other areas. Again, you have the articulation of the arm, just like you saw on the first side, the articulation of the leg, just like we saw on the other side. The only real big difference over here is the leg is kind of taking a step forward compared to the leg on the opposing side, which is, you know, kind of trailing. But overall, though, when it comes to a Chap Mei dinosaur, this is probably one of the coolest looking ones I've seen in a long time. Then we've also got the ATV, which does have the Dino Valley logo on it right there. You can see the ATV is basically just a yellow, has this very cool area back here. Yep, I knew that was going to articulate. It just looked like it would, so you can push that down. You also have the handlebars and stuff. They don't really, maybe they do move a little bit actually. Didn't really realize that at first. And then of course the wheels move nicely. The actual ATV itself is pretty decently detailed. You know, you can see some nice looking sculpt and detail throughout. Not a whole lot else as far as like coloration or anything goes, but it's pretty cool. And then you have the same guy we've had a bunch of times from Chap Mei that always looks like Vin Diesel to me a little bit, kind of sort of like Vin Diesel. But again, we have actually gone over this guy numerous times already. He's been in many Chap Mei sets, so I don't feel like we really need to go over him again. But then we do also have the vegetation, which has also been in numerous Chap Mei sets, and they usually include this sort of thing just to help create a scene. And at this point, if you've been collecting Chap Mei sets like I have been for as long as I have been, you should have like an entire jungle of this stuff. So over time, if you continue to collect a line, you can really create some very cool dioramas, I would imagine. And then we've also got these guys here, these baby dinos that have like eggs here, well actually just one egg, and then you can attach the egg to put the babies in. Also something we've gone over tons of times in the past on the channel. And then we also have the weapons. Again, it looks like your standard weapon pack from Chap Mei. You've got all the usual stuff like shovels. Well, it's not even really weapons, actually. It's like shovels. You've got lanterns, cameras, all kinds of stuff like that. And, you know, it's pretty much what you normally get. So I guess this is part of the observation team from Chap Mei, or from Dino Valley, I should say. But again, really fun extras. Kids will definitely love this stuff. But of course, my favorite part of the set is this absolutely awesome looking version of a Dilophosaurus. Now, as far as a size goes, this is definitely the largest Dilophosaurus I remember from Chap Mei, and if this is not meant to be a Dilophosaurus, I'm not sure what species, honestly, they were going for. It doesn't state on the box, but I'm pretty sure that would be a Dilophosaurus. But lengthwise, you are looking at about 13.5, maybe closing in on 13 3/4 inches, or about 34.5 centimeters. And then for a height, and of course this would be dependent on where you position it because you could stand it up taller, around 7 inches or about 18 centimeters. Nothing else in this set I think really needs to be measured because again it's stuff we've had before. But for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A Human Being next to this very cool Chap Mei set. And as you can see, this Dilophosaurus is very large. Definitely one of the bigger Chap Mei figures that I've reviewed recently. And on top of that, you can also see as far as the human figure goes, he's pretty much in the same size range as Mattel, which makes these sets compatible with the Mattel sets, which is also really cool because, again, it gives you even more stuff you can use if you, like, interchange the two brands, which is really fun. For another comparison, we have a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus stepping in next to this very large Chap Mei Dilophosaurus to continue to give you an idea of the size. And then as far as a Chap Mei comparison goes, we have the Dinosaur and Concavenator that I had recently reviewed next to this set, and you can very clearly see they are a good bit smaller. And then one more comparison that I think really shows you the size, we have the Chap Mei set next to the Mattel Yanksuanosaurus, and that would be one of the gigantic trackers figures. So as you can see, this set features a, again, Dilophosaurus, I guess, that is in the same size range as what you would get with a gigantic trackers figure from Mattel, showing you again that it does have a very impressive size. We've also, of course, got the action feature, so you've got a little button here on the side of the stomach. And yes, we of course have that classic Chap Mei Dinosaur roar, but you can also see how the frill lights up quite nicely. Right there in the center of the frill, pretty much, closing in on the head. And again, that's pretty much what I expected from the images on the back, and just the obvious translucent look to the frill pretty much led me to believe that's how it would light up. So this Chap Mei Dino Valley Dilophosaurus playset is definitely a fun one. Honestly, it's probably one of the coolest dinosaurs. It's a fun set, but the dinosaur is what I'm most excited about. It's probably one of the coolest dinosaurs I've seen come from Chap Mei in quite a while. When I had first seen this one, I was so impressed with the overall design and how cool it is, but also how stylized it is. But I think, again, I'm just such a big fan of the style, of the design they went with. It's just probably one of the most unique takes I've seen on a dinosaur from Chap Mei in quite some time, and definitely one of the coolest looking versions. The sculpt is really quite nicely done. It's got some nice fine detail, a very stylized and very interesting look for it. Definitely some artistic liberties were taken with this one, but the detail pops quite nicely on the sculpt, and for the most part it doesn't really look like it has any areas that are particularly muted except for maybe the lower jaw. It also does have a little healthy dose of Jurassic Park added in, I guess, with the frill on the neck, something that Chap Mei often includes in their Dilophosaurus figures for obvious reasons, again giving it that Jurassic Park look, because so many people associate the frill with Dilophosaurus now thanks to Jurassic Park, so it's something that I think will of course draw kids in, and the fact that it lights up and stuff is definitely something that will also draw kids in. The paintwork is pretty nice, nothing overly flashy, but it works for what it is. Of course, things like painted claws and stuff would always be a plus, but the dinosaur overall has a paint job that looks like it could be pretty much the type of color you would see on something like this. And on top of that, again, it's got some, articulation, pretty cool, very vintage dinosaur roar, a light up feature, and it also has tons of extras, as you've got the, baby dinosaurs, you've also got the accessory pack, you've got the vegetation to create a scene, and then you've also got a human character with an ATV. What more can you ask for? So definitely a really cool set, definitely worth picking up. If you are interested in grabbing one of these, you can head to a few different stores because you never know where you might find it. Your best bet would be to check Family Dollar, Dollar General, Big Lots, or Cracker Barrel. I know those 4 stores absolutely carry Chap Mei products. Outside of that, you just never know where they'll pop up, so keep your eye out open pretty much everywhere. But again, definitely a set worth picking up if you ask me, so make sure you do if you can find it, and of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.